All right. Lambo's World of Sports featuring the Big Brother feature Silent Sports Network. All right. Top 5 teams after week 6. Number 5, the Detroit Lions. All right. The Detroit Lions coming off a 9-8 season last year after going 1-7. Jared Goff is just going off because Jared Goff is that guy. I'm trying to tell you, they got Jahmyr Gibbs. They're doing some great days. David Montgomery, by the way, is running the ball well. Dan Campbell has that team going. The defense is a little bit better, all right? I'm not going to say they're up there with, the other teams, all right? But it's getting better, and I'm having confidence they lead the NFC North. Surprisingly, the Vikings are garbage this year. The Bears have always been garbage. Oh, my God, Green Bay lost on Monday Night Football. Jordan Love ain't doing so well, but Jared Goff, if I'm putting my money on the line, Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks in that division, and they play the Bucs this weekend. I think it'll be a great, great matchup. I am sold. The Lions will make the playoffs, and there's a potential upset that it could possibly beat the Cowboys or somebody else. Now, number 4 on Lambo's W list. Number 4, I am going to take those those Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, that whole thing is coming out. Travis Kelce got himself a baddie. Now, I don't know if they're going to be together long-term, wifey-wise, but you got yourself somebody that can produce money. That is money, that is fame, but he is one of the best tight ends in all of the NFL, along with George Kittle as well. He's been putting up consistent numbers. When you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, they keep on going, and they're doing this without Tyreek Hill, all right? They're doing it without Tyreek Hill. Everybody keeps talking about what they're going to do without Tyreek Hill. They're also doing it without Eric Bieniemy, who is in Washington, all right? They have Matt Nagy, who was the former offensive coordinator before he got a head coach, along with Doug Peterson, the whole tree. The whole Andy Reid tree is together. Like I said, their defense has been very, very consistently surprising because the defense has been above average. But the defense has been locked down. You have Chris Jones, who didn't hold out for 8 weeks. So I'm putting my money on the Kansas City Chiefs. There is a possibility they can repeat for the Super Bowl, but that depends on what the Bengals do, and that's what depends on what the Bills do. So, number three on the Lambo's W list, all right? It will surprise some of you folks, or it's just going to be the same. Number 3, boom. Tyreek Hill and those Dolphins, they are up there. Yes, Mike McDaniel, he is that guy. He is funny. He may be weird, but Mike McDaniel knows football, especially when you're under that Kyle Shanahan tree. Tyreek Hill is one of the fastest receivers in all the NFL. I know all you people keep saying you want to race Tyreek Hill, but I mean, when he runs, he averages about 23 to 24 miles per hour of speed. He is full of speed. Did you not see what he did in the game where somebody lifted him up and wanted to give him the game ball to his mom? I think he got fined. He might have got fined yet. I'm not sure, but he was afraid to get fined. He might have got fined. He might have did. But Tyreek Hill has fat pockets. I'm not sure how long he'll be in the league for, but don't take this man for granted. By the way, Tua is playing great. He's playing excellent, all right? I'm not sold on the Dolphins long term, but if Tua can stay healthy, the Miami Dolphins are one of the most explosive offenses. They got to be number 1. I mean, they put up so many yards, but the defense does lack a little bit of concern when you don't have a Jalen Ramsey and you have Eli Apple replacing the Jalen Ramsey, and that's just not something you can do. So the Dolphins are up there. They're 4-1. They do have a chance to win the division if the Buffalo Bills do keep struggling. Now, my number 2 team, which is boom. Number 2 on the Lambo's W list. Number two. Yes, the Eagles. The Eagles are undefeated, baby. They are 5-0, and I know you're so pissed off because you think the Cowboys were going to win the NFC East, and that's just not going to happen. You're sitting at 3-2. The Eagles are 5-0. Now, I understand the defense is a little bit of suspect. The red zone offense has a little bit trouble, a little bit of inconsistencies. They lost the offensive coordinator, they lost the defensive coordinator. They are proving us wrong because Jalen Hurts is doing what Jalen Hurts does. He's running the football, he's throwing the ball. You got Devontae Smith, you got A.J. Brown. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, the defense is still being excellent. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is looking for revenge. He got paid his money in the offseason. He's looking for his revenge to try to go back to the Super Bowl and get a ring. The Eagles have a chance to do it. They're the second best team in the NFC because you know what's happening. You know what's going on. the number one team in all of the NFL on Lambo's W list, which you should have common sense, and everybody in the NFL should have common sense, is those San Francisco 49ers. Yes. Did you see what George Kittle pulled that shirt up? He said, fuck those Dallas Cowboys. That's what I'm talking about. And Micah Parsons and everybody came out talking about, oh, you just made it personal. Debo said it was already personal. All right. So I promise you, Micah Parsons, you might not want to say, I get that you're responding to a podcast. I'm not using that against you. I'm just saying, the Dallas Cowboys, you do not want to see these 49ers again ever in the playoffs. I promise you don't want to do it because I will put money on it. Money where my mouth is. By the way, all you Brock Purdy haters, oh, he does just enough. Oh, no, he torched them for a touchdown. He kept slinging it and slinging it. Like I said, when you play 5 years of college football at Iowa State and you're Mr. Irrelevant, you're cheap for 2 years. So the 49ers messed up on the Trey Lance thing. Jimmy G did just enough. Jimmy G is a side-to-side quarterback. But Brock Purdy does everything. Now, we hadn't seen him run yet, but he can run if Kyle Shanahan asks him to run. But you got Deebo Samuel. You got Jennings. You got IU. You got Kittle. Oh, my God. CMC, Christian McCaffrey, has scored a touchdown in every single game for like 14 or 15 consecutive games. And, of course, you got Kyle Juszczyk, the run fullback specialist. The 49ers are willing to block everybody. They have the best defense in the NFL. And, by the way, I think Brock Purdy has the best QBR as right now. It's at 83-something, 83.5, 83.8. I'm taking my money on Brock Purdy. That is Lambo's W list. And I know it looks great, but we got to see what your W list consists of.
Yeah, so unlike last week when we had a few differences, our list is pretty similar this week. I've got the Lions at 5 as well. I've got, you see this arrow right here. That is showing that I did not have them ranked last week. You'll see in the rest of the picks, I have the movement just like that arrow on there. But yeah, I mean, the Lions are up into my top 5, 6th ranked defense overall, and the 3rd best rush defense based on yards per game. Offensively, they're still cooking just like they were last year. 6th ranked overall offense, 9th passing, and 7th rushing based on yards per game. And you mentioned it with Jared Goff. He's 9th in the league in passing yards. He's 6th in completion percentage, and he's tied for 7th with 9 touchdowns. And the only reason he's tied for 7th is because the top guys that have like 13 and 11, there's like 3 or 4 of them. So it just bumps his tie down to 7th. 9th is like the 3rd highest in the league. The team as a whole has a plus 41 point differential. And, you know, part of the reason it's keeping them down, just a +1 turnover differential isn't what you love to see. They are fumbling the ball a little bit. Jared's throwing more interceptions than we saw him throw in those last 8 games of the season last year. But overall, the Lions are looking great, and I've got them into my top 5. Next up is my number 4 team last week in the number 5 team last week in the Dolphins, moving up to 4 this week. They've got the number 1 ranked offense in the NFL based on yards per game and points per game. Tua number 1 in passing yards, number 3 in completion percentage, tied for 2nd in touchdowns with 11, and 3rd in QBR, 2nd in passer rating. Achane shot up to 2nd in the league in rushing. Obviously, he's out, but Mostert is still averaging 5.4 carry. The offensive line is still working very well when it comes to the run game. And Tua hasn't been sacked very much either. That was an issue in the past. Obviously with the whole concussion stuff going on. And they've really minimized that in comparison to last year. You talked about it. Tyreek is still one of the best in the game. He's 1st in yards, tied for 1st in touchdowns, and he's 1st in yards after the catch by a mile. The team where you talked about as well, the defense isn't looking up to what you'd like. They are 3rd in the league in sacks. So at least the D-line and the linebackers are getting dirty work done. Plus 46 in point differential. But Tua has turned the ball over. It's what it comes with the gunslinging, like just throwing the ball a bunch per game. You're going to turn the ball over a little bit. And he's got 5 on the year through 5 weeks. So we'll have to see if they make adjustments, but I think everything else going on solidifies them at the number 4 spot. Next up, didn't have them ranked last week. I was hating. They are still the Chiefs. I have them at 3rd. Pat Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. I know statistically he's not all the way up, but you have to look at the supporting cast. He does have Travis back now at what we thought was 100%. Then we saw him get banged up again. So I don't know if we've actually seen Travis at 100% this year, but you've seen his supporting cast outside of Travis hasn't looked the best when it comes to receivers. And Pat is still 7th in the league in yards, 6th in touchdowns, and 4th in QBR. The defense, like you mentioned, has improved. 9th ranked defense and 11th ranked run defense based on yards allowed. And they still haven't allowed more than 20 points. Point differential plus 48. They're -2 in turnover differential. They would be even. As you can see, I have it noted here that 2 of the turnovers came from Blaine Gabbert throwing interceptions in that blowout against the Bears. He came in, he threw 5 attempts, and he threw 2 interceptions in those 5 attempts. So, yeah, the turnover differential is telling a little bit of a lie when it comes to that. So that's why I'm not as worried about it. But just and Pacheco is doing great as well. He's 14th in the league in rushing yards right now. So the Chiefs, considering what they're lacking when it comes to offensive weapons, they're still producing, and the defense is really stepping up to get the job done where the offense used to be able to do that. Number 2, the Eagles, up 2 spots from my last week's ranking. I had them at number 4. Yeah, I mean, they're just great. I hate giving a lot of praise to the Eagles, given my hatred for them, but calling it as I see it, I'm not going to be biased when it comes to it. 2nd ranked offense, 10th in passing and 2nd in run, based on yards per game, 5th in points per game. And the defense, it has slipped. The secondary is allowing a lot of yards in the passing game, but they still have the 10th ranked defense because the run defense is the best in the league. +3 turnover differential and +37 in point differential. Like the running game obviously has been insane, 2nd in the league as it's listed here. But like DeAndre Swift was such a surprise. Jalen Hurts is still doing what he does. Passing wise, he's like, a lot of his stats are like around the 14 to 16 area. So about middle of the league. But when you have 2 great guys and you can throw the ball as well as he can, he is 10th in passing yards. So, where in other categories where he's about average, he's getting the ball to his number 1 guys and he's getting it to them efficiently. And obviously, it's working for them so far. They've been winning scrappy games, and it's just like they did it last year. It's not always pretty, but the team gets the job done. And to no one's surprise, after beating Dallas's ass, would be it stopped sharing. There we go. Would be the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, they dominated Dallas. Hurts my soul. And I think Brock showed that he can be the reason the offense has success, even if CMC doesn't go crazy. I mentioned this on Monday in the recap of that Sunday night game, that the Dallas defense, we had a pretty suspect run defense, and we committed to not letting Christian McCaffrey be the reason we lost. And we limited him to 2.9 yards a carry. He had like 50 yards or something. But Brock sliced us and diced us, and we got our asses kicked. So I think, Brock proved that he's not just a game manager. He's elevating himself into an upper tier of quarterback in this league. And they still have the best defense in the league. They don't turn the ball over. They force turnovers, plus 99 point differential, and they don't have any major injuries right now. So like they everything, obviously we're only 5 weeks into the year, but everything is clicking for the Niners, and everything seems to be going in the right direction. Here it is, though. MattPatt's post week 5 NFL top 5.
It's a great list. It's a great list. The only thing that we had different was the Chiefs and the Dolphins. I had them at 3. I mean, you had them at 4. I had them at 3. That's the only difference. But like I said, those are the top 5 teams heading into weeks after week 5, but heading into week 6. This is it. Lamb's Border Sports. Tomorrow it is NFL recaps. The games you want to watch out for is probably the Lions and the Bucks. Be something to watch out for. Of course, the Cowboys and the Chargers on Monday Night Football. All right, the Kellen Moore, Justin Herbert. Will Dak get his mojo back? Will the defense be back after the embarrassing loss? The Patriots and Raiders, even though it's not prime time, so Josh McDaniels versus a Bill Belichick thing. Former long-time, assistants together, respect. Hopefully the Patriots don't pull what they did last year. And then, of course, there's some other things that I like as well. But we'll have to see how that goes along the lines. But this is it. Lambo Sports. We will catch you tomorrow at 7. And also Thursday Night Football. All right. The Broncos versus the Chiefs. I will watch it, but I don't care for Russell Wilson. He's hot garbage. I need some of that $245 million contract because you ain't doing shit. But goodbye, adios. We will catch you